We'll call the regular meeting in the New Ulm City Council for April 3rd, 2018, 4:30 PM to order. First item on the agenda is your consent agenda items. What's your wishes?
I'll offer a motion to approve the consent agenda items tonight.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items. Any discussion on any? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 2A, number 1, consider resolution approving with one condition the application from Brent Donner, President of DLC Manufacturing and Fabrication, and Jeff Dietrich, President of New Ulm Economic Development Corporation, for a conditional use permit to allow the location of a metal fabricating business on the property zoned I-1 at 20 Thompson Drive, or Street.
I'd like to just add the planning commission recommended approval. There's no concerns that we've had in regards to it. And we had to have the meeting due to, we don't have it on in our zoning to allow a metal fabrication business within the zoning. So it's just a technicality, and so in the future when we're updating the zoning, we'll try to include light manufacturing and then the proceed forward. And the condition was just record the feed with the Brown County.
Thank you. Anybody else?
So
Nothing? Entertain a motion?
I'll offer, it's a resolution.
Resolution, yes.
So I'll offer the resolution, waiving the reading, approving with one condition, the applicant of Brent Donner, President of DLC Manufacturing and Fabrication Incorporation, and Jeff Dietrich, President of the New Ulm Economic Development Corporation, for conditional use permit to allow the location of metal fabrication business on property zoned I-1 Planned Industrial District at 20 Thompson Street.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to offer the resolution, waive the reading. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Finance Director, please call the roll.
Counselor Fisher?
Yes.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes. Good luck, Brett. Item 2A, number 2, consider an application from Shane Gremmel requesting a side yard setback variance to allow a garage to be located 5 feet from the north property line at 201 North Jefferson Street.
And Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval at the March 29th, 2018 meeting. And right now it's got a 10-foot setback. He wants to go to a 5-foot setback. There is currently a slab of concrete there where they're currently been parking. Make one change here. He did say it was looking at 24 by 26 for the garage size, so we've got it in here as 24 by 25. And, you know, he'd like to add a garage to his home, and it would be a detached garage.
This is obviously a corner lot, right?
Correct.
You didn't have any concerns from neighbors, or
There was no objections from the neighbor.
we're not gonna have any vision issues since it's that close to the sidewalk or streets?
We've already got a concrete slab there that's been there previously from the last couple owners, and that's where they've been currently parking.
But there was a slab, but not a building there.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's an 82 by 100 lot. So it's
Okay.
a corner lot with one way, but they sold off at one time. And we've done this previously within the community.
I don't have a picture.
Way down. Over the
Dave?
second one.
Dave Schnobert, Community Development Director. The garage would actually be located towards the interior of the block. It would not be located on the street side
Okay.
of the residence.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for the variance for the garage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 3A, consider resolution approving the plans of specification, order and advertising for bids, set bid opening date and authorize staff to receive and open bids for the 2018 street, utility street and alley improvements Group 1 project at 10 a.m. Thursday, May 3rd, 2018 in the City Hall Council Chambers.
I'll offer the resolution to waive the reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to offer the resolution waived reading. Any discussion? Seeing none. Finance Director, please call the roll.
Counselor Fisher?
Yes.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item 3B, first reading of ordinance number 18-024, fifth series, amending section 8.21 subdivision 1 of the city code, the city of New Ulm, relative to dog, cat regulations and licensing. Roger.
Mr. President, can I offer a minor change to that prior to it being read into the record? If we go to the actual ordinance, subdivision 1 in the middle, it says right now, except as areas designated by the city as a dog or cat park. I don't think in my lifetime we're going to see a cat park, so can we just please strike that part from the record and just say, by the city as a dog park?
I'll second that. I don't want to deal with the cat park.
Please.
Roger.
Do we have to vote on that first,
I don't
I would
know.
assume as a change?
My suggestion would be if you want to clarify this, this would allow, if there ever would be a cat park in New Ulm, it would make it applicable to that. If the council does not want that language in there, I would suggest you vote on Councilor Schultz's motion, and then I will read it without that language. We'll make sure it's not in the final version for the second reading either.
We got a motion and a
Motion
second
and a
on
second.
already.
Okay. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now,
All
Roger.
right. Ordinance number 18-024, fifth series, City of New Ulm, Brown County, Minnesota. An ordinance amending section 8.21, subdivision 1 of the city code of the City of New Ulm relative to dog and cat regulation and licensing. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of New Ulm, section 1, that section 8.21, subdivision 1 of the city code of the City of New Ulm is hereby amended to read as follows. Section 8.21, dog and cat regulation licensing. Subdivision 1, running at large prohibited. It is unlawful for any person who is the owner or the person in possession or control of a dog or cat to permit such dog or cat to run at large. Except in areas designated by the city as a dog park, dogs or cats must be on a leash when on public rights-of-way or public property. Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect and shall be in force 30 days from and after its adoption, approval, and publication.
Thank you. Item 3C, consider resolution authorizing the city manager to close the revolving loan fund number 253 and redisperse the cash balance of the fund as permitted by the Minnesota state law.
Dave Schnobrick, Community Development Director. At the present time, the city has 4 revolving loan funds. Our first revolving loan fund was created in 1984, at least that's what my records show. And that fund is the only one from which loans have been made. We have made a total of 24 loans in approximately 35 years. So that, and that also is the fund that has the largest dollar balance that we have. The other 3 funds that we have were created as a result of receiving some type of financial assistance from either the state or the federal government. And so right now there's kind of rules and regulations that the state has established that applies to all 4 of those revolving loan funds. And that has to do with process, procedure, rules and regulations, that type of thing. In addition, 2 of the 4 revolving loan funds have additional restrictions. And those were set by either the state of Minnesota or the federal government. So the other three, the first revolving loan fund, was 1984. The others were established, I think one was in 1999, another in 2004, and then another one in 2012. And so, as I said before, we have not made any loans from those particular funds. So this year, the state legislature passed a law which allows communities to take state-funded MIF stands for Minnesota Investment Fund monies, and to utilize those for other purposes. So we no longer are restricted to using those funds for loans to businesses. Can, if we follow the appropriate requirements, we can utilize most of that money for other designated purposes that the council should approve. And staff has recommended that what we would propose to do with the funding is to establish a separate account and to utilize that account to pay for improvements associated with the development of the new industrial park. So this is a one-time opportunity. We need to advise the state of our decision by June 1st of this year. If we were to elect to do so, 20% of the current loan balance would go back to the state of Minnesota, to their general fund. 80% would stay with the city. From staff standpoint, we think this is a good opportunity to utilize this money. Otherwise, I think the concern, at least that I have, is that the money's going to sit in the account and we're never going to really get active use from it.
And I think that was the anticipation at the state too. That's why we have this opportunity. In the last probably 5 to 8 years, we've been getting surveys from the state asking how much money do you have in your certain accounts, and they, I think, were initially looking at it as to saying, hey, you cities, you got more money than we got as a state. We don't have any money in our account, but there's a lot of money sitting out there that can't be used for the reasons Dave had pointed out. And so in order to allow this to happen, get that money actually being used, this is the state's getting their cut, and that's just the way life is. They say, okay, you can do it, we'll get 20%, and 80% you can then cut loose and utilize as you deem necessary. So.
And our 80% is $90,072. The state will get a check from us for $22,519.
That's an approximate dollar
Approximate dollar
amount
amount, so
because
it'll-
it'll be dependent upon the date that this is official, and then the appropriate disbursements would be made.
Do you want it to be anything specific out in the industrial park or just general expenses?
Development costs would be specific
Development
enough, because
costs.
that could be anything necessary to make that usable land in the future. I'd hate to just assign it to stormwater, that's
Or just general?
just general development of the park is,
Okay.
I think, adequate.
Makes sense to me. I'm going to offer the resolution, waive the reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to offer the resolution, waive the reading. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Finance Director, please call the roll.
Counselor Fisher?
Yes.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item 3D, consider resolution authorizing the removal and relocation of the existing sidewalk benches and installation of 4 additional tables in the downtown area. Brian?
It was brought to my attention that Broadway is code for Minnesota Street. So whenever you see Broadway, that really is Minnesota Street. So other than that, as you're probably well aware of, there's been a group that has been looking at our downtown, trying to make it more hospitable. They did include, I believe it's 2 tables and moved a couple benches to start the process. They have a proposal before you on Minnesota Street. to add 4 additional tables in the downtown area. I don't know if there's anybody here that is representing that group. I did receive correspondence from Cindy Winter saying that due to the weather, she was not going to be here. So if the council has any issues, we can, table it and, pick it up 2 weeks from now. But I think it's pretty straightforward what they're proposing to do. Only issue I might just put on the table, no pun intended, is just the fact that they are removing 3 benches that are currently on the east side of German Park. I don't know, maybe Park and Rec Director knows if those benches are utilized, for park purposes, or if we should, acquire additional benches to make this happen.
Tom Schmitz, Park and Recreation Department. The benches in the lower east side in the parking lot, is that what we're talking about?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, those are, I've not seen them used. They're kind of on the PUC side of that drive, the alley. I've never seen anyone sit on those.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
I like the idea of moving these benches around. We moved a couple last year, and now people are sitting in them and they're liking it. It makes our downtown a little bit more friendly, I think. I certainly support this.
And I attend a few of these meetings, and they had the chamber and this, the group that's meeting, I call it the Main Street group. There's so many different ones. I'm just gonna use Main Street. They've got positive feedback from the ones that we did put in last year. People do actually, in the summertime, go out and sit, have their lunch.
I will offer the resolution to waive the reading to allow the tables to be located and anchored to the city public right-of-way in front of the Kiesling House, corner of Broadway and Minnesota, corner of Minnesota and First North, corner of Minnesota and First South, and allow the 8 existing benches to be relocated, anchored at the 4 tables locations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to offer the resolution, waive the reading. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Finance Director, please call the roll.
Counselor Fisher?
Yes.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item 4A, consider acceptance of list of claims paid and approve a list of claims to be paid. Claims paid in amount of $1,217,456.33 and claims to be paid in amount of $235,178.98.
I'll move it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. With no more business, meeting adjourned.